I call this Monday, February 2nd, Budget Workshop of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors to order. We'll have presentations from Mrs. Colvin.
Chairman and members of the board, thank you for meeting today.
Mike.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
He said.
Okay. Okay, so the first document you have is our capital plan, and this is with the Planning Commission right now, so they'll make their recommendation on several of these projects at their meeting on February 12th. The only changes from the last presentation I gave at our last board meeting and this right here, we've removed the $3 million from the elementary school for the study and the architectural and moved it into 20, that'll be a 26 request because the grant funding that I had put, I thought it was 27 grant funding, it's actually going to be 26 grant funding. So that'll be something we'll do as we move through 26. So I've taken both of those out of the budget. And then I also removed a $30,000 request for airport flooring, to replace the flooring in the terminal, because you have a request tonight to do it now before their busy season gets done. So you'll see those two things removed. Still want to do them, they're just going to be 26 requests instead.
Which of these sheets are you?
The one with the 4 pages,
I got you.
that one right there. Yeah. So if you I'll just high level go through them really quick. So we have IT projects, which are computer replacements, server replacements, phone system replacement, which we would like to get started in 26. So you'll see part of a request tonight for the phone system, and the other half is the second piece of it in 27 that will go with that. And then we're looking to replace the treasurer and commissioner software and bring them up to a more up-to-date software, hopefully in 27 as well. I have part of the funding available for that. This is just what we think it'll cost for the additional. So those are the IT projects.
What page go?
Page 1.
Right here in that first
Yeah.
paragraph.
Yep, that one. And then elections, we save every year for electronic poll books. So that's what that request for 20,000 is there. The sheriffs, it's pretty much just vehicle replacements and equipment to go in their cars, replacement radios, replacement radar units as their staff grows, so the need for additional cars and equipment for those. All these are the standard requests that we generally get every year. Fire and EMS, it's apparatus. It's got future years out, we've got 2 stations we do have money set aside for, to do some studies for a new station in the Ferncliff area or Zion's Crossroad area to see where the best place would be to put those. So that's what that study money is for, to see where the best place that those would go. And then there is a request for Fire Station 5, which is Locust Creek, for a renovation so we can get career staff in there and more spacing for women and men in there. Yes.
We want to be open about this. We've working with them on getting a memorandum of understanding that because we're putting a substantial amount of money into the building, that they can't just one day come in and tell us this is our building, get out. So that's new.
You can't one day tell us what?
It's their building, get out.
Get out.
So, yeah. And they were very amenable to that. It was kind of a hard conversation, but we had it. It wasn't that hard. They were happy to do that. We just want to be very clear. We're not putting a $50,000 roof on. We're putting $700,000 renovation to it.
As we go on down, general services, these are some of our normal funds for the landfill closure and opening, replacement vehicles. We put aside money to keep the upkeep of the compactors and solid waste equipment. And then the biggest thing here is probably the animal shelter addition for 27. And then a grounds maintenance shop for general services are the big things in there. And then the parking lot here to replace it, repair it. And we move on down to the schools. It's their general ask, nothing unusual other than the new elementary school in 28. But mostly it's buses, vehicles, digital security cameras, things that are our normal every year there. Parks and Rec, we have long-term CIP project funding we've been saving for as projects come up that the board feels like we should move forward with, and we have some funding there to move forward with those projects. We've got
That fund used to have a different name, didn't it?
We moved last year to the Parks and Rec long-term CIP reserves, but it used to be all these individual projects, and we moved it all into the reserves.
Wasn't that the pool money too?
It was the aquatic facility, and it was also a rec center, and the skate park got done with some additional money
Now it's all
last
in
year.
one nice bundle. We
Now it's in
bundled it.
one bundle as.
That's how you save money, bundle.
Yes.
Use your
Better
mic.
Queen Gym flooring. I'm sorry. The Better Queen Gym flooring. Can y'all hear me? The Better Queen Gym flooring. Is that to replace the current floor or to install a wood floor?
I would think it's
I
to
think it's the current.
coat the current floor.
Yeah, I think it's the
For
current floor.
$120,000, you ain't putting
That's what
Yeah.
That's why I was looking at that price. I'm like, oh, you ain't doing no wood floor for that.
No, I think it's to,
And I got no problem with the current floor. I mean, you spill
Here it
stuff,
is.
you wipe it up and move on.
it says the removal and resurfacing of the gymnasium floor.
Yeah.
So that's just the
And I'm
surface.
fine with that. For the different multiple uses that we use, that's fine.
They have a lot, that gym is used all the time.
Oh, all the time.
And then as we move forward, we have fleet vehicles for community development. And then we have the savings for the Bowlers Mill, dam improvements, and the wastewater treatment plant in Louisa's ammonia
So-
nitrogen.
Yeah, just to
project.
be clear there, this year we will meet our goal on what we were
Yes.
trying to save for the wastewater treatment plant. And next year, it's not even a full fund, and we'll meet the goal for the Bowlers Mill. That the goals we originally set out for it.
Yes.
They may or may not continue to be accurate, but we will have met and fulfilled those goals.
We actually will start expenses for the ammonia nitrogen in '27. We're hoping to get grant funding as well, so that hopefully that money will be lower
Now,
than that.
that's in conjunction with the town, is it not?
Yes.
So the town picks up half the expense because they own half the plant.
And I owe General Services an apology.
Uh-oh.
Dennis, something?
I was ragging them guys about those GMCs around here. And
They go everywhere in the snow, don't they?
he said he can't get no Fords. Found out they couldn't get Fords. So I apologized.
It's hard to get the fleet replaced in a timely
Yeah.
manner now. There's such a backlog for those. And then we have a few airport projects listed. I removed the flooring because we hope to do that this year to replace the flooring in the terminal. Now, they're doing a master plan at the airport, so these projects may change. They haven't updated that in a while, but this is what we knew at the time that these were submitted. So some of these may come in or out in the future years, but that's just where we're at now. So any questions on any particular projects within the Capitol? The Planning Commission, like I said, will make their recommendations next Thursday. Yes, sir?
I've got two. One's really directed at Mr. Goodwin.
Okay.
Is the airport submitting plans or working on long-term plans on the runway expansion?
They're working on a multitude of plans over there. Updating the airport layout plan and the associated master plan will include several different things for your consideration over the next few years. But yes, extending the runway is part of that consideration. That's years off. There's a lot of work that would have to be done to even get to that point, but it's part of the consideration.
Good. And then the second thing, Ms. Colvin, on page 1, I again, just say this, paraphrase Mr. Williams, just say these words out loud. The two new stations, Zion Crossroads and Ferncliff, which we've got $9 million in fiscal year '28. I don't necessarily want to call those a placeholder, but, I mean, those dates aren't set in stone.
No, they are not.
So,
That'd make them a placeholder.
yeah, let's make them a placeholder, I guess.
Well, they're there so we don't lose
We
sight.
know.
Anything
We know.
past this year is unknown. We evaluate it every year. It could move out. Something may happen and there may be a request sooner, but
Right.
this is what we know right now.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I hope the board, unless a meeting that I missed, I don't know. I hope we have a discussion when that time comes to use the same design that Newbridge has for our future fire stations. Saves us money. Architect saves us some money to look at using that blueprint.
Anybody else? Yes.
I have a couple of questions. This may not be the appropriate time for them, so, Mr. Chairman, Wanda, I'm more than happy to take correction on it, whether it is or not.
All right,
I'm
well, you
just-
can stop. I'm playing with you.
He looked up there real quick.
I heard him talking, I didn't know what he was saying, I needed to.
I'm playing with you.
Ask anything. If I don't know the answer, we'll find it.
Good. I know. Fitz will more than happily tell me when to stop. So a couple of things on here that I maybe just don't understand, and I just could use some clarification on it. Is now the time for that, or is it? Okay. Good. So the animal shelter, the general services, and the storage building is $2,867,464. I guess my question is, you did an amazing job noting what was expected annual normal expenditures, and then you also noted a couple of the things that were a little outside of that, which is, very well put. Those three things there, I think I don't know whether we want to lower our budget, Tommy, or whether we want to continue to raise our Louisa County budget. But I think that if you look at these things, I don't understand, there's a $95,000 bleacher request as well in the school board budget. Where are those bleachers at? The jungle, or just a
Alright.
bleacher request?
Well,
I think they want to expand the, not going to talk for Doug, but I did hear somewhere along the lines, the seating in the jungle for the visiting team. So I believe that may be the visiting team, but he could clarify that. But I did hear that somewhere.
Okay.
let me
something he
look
was
really
talking about.
quickly in the request. They may have put, they normally do put where they're at. For the animal shelter, that was when we put, the expansion of that was when we pushed out last year because of the need for this year. So that one, and then the same with the maintenance shop, we pushed that one out last year as well.
Okay. I can remember those two.
Sorry, let me find the bleachers.
I guess my point is, at some level, you can't say yes to everything. I'm just looking at some of the things that we may want to examine.
Well, I think that's a fair point. But I would point out with the animal shelter, well, there's a lot of things that aren't on here that already said no to.
Yeah, you make it to you.
But the animal shelter building addition, we've put that off, for 2 years, haven't we? We've put that off for 2
Oh,
years.
no.
Well aware of that as an adoptive.
We
Oh.
could put the admin parking lot back another year.
Yeah, we could. We would need to do that before we do the
Oh,
shelter.
no, you can't touch that. You can't touch the animal shelter, I tell you that.
No. And I'll tell you.
I
that
think we can probably do both.
So we
but,
really need the parking lot
dangerous
as
right now
well.
for the residents in that animal shelter and the overflow and the veterinary.
Hold on, we're all talking over each other. But we're going to, I think the reason that it's in this first draft is we've put it off for 2 years. They're constantly critically full. We're trying to maintain the no-kill shelter designation. And I think that's probably reached critical mass over there. It's either do it now, they're going to start euthanizing animals. We put it off another year, cost will go up 10%. Again, whatever y'all want to do, but that's the reasoning
And
behind
I believe
it.
it's a safety issue for the veterinarian I believe it's a safety issue too. I've heard from the veterinarian working within shelter that it's such a small area that she's concerned about medically treating animals and so forth, that it's just not practical.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
we've already had that conversation, and I think we should the public that we're going to move forward with this project, and I certainly want to do that. But I got a quick question. Following the General Assembly, and you all know how that works.
Oh, you want to raise taxes?
Would you
You
listen?
don't want to follow that closely.
Following the General Assembly, going back and forth on legislation, if it does, I know we are planning on paying cash for some items, but if it does and the voters choose to do a referendum for 1% sales tax to go to school construction, would that affect our methodology on school projects, because if the voters choose to have a 1% sales tax to go towards specifically school projects, we need to look at that if it does happen.
Yeah, I believe it's on construction projects.
Right.
So
Just off the cuff, what would 1% revenue be? Any idea?
Sales
one,
tax,
it's
huh?
like $1 million for 1 cent on the.
So
on
a
the
year.
real- Yeah.
But it's not on real estate tax, it's a 1%
It's on
sales
sales
tax.
tax.
Oh, sales tax, I don't
So
know.
we don't-
I'd have
we
to
wouldn't
find
know.
that. I could calculate it, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
I'm just asking.
Answer Supervisor Barnes's question. I think the focus has been trying to pay for things with cash. I don't think that would impact that intent. It would just change the funding source.
Right.
Yeah.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes, sir.
I see the Henson Building on here, that I know General Services, when they put it through, I believe they put that through to be in the 27 budget,
I think so.
and so that's been moved to 28.
Yes, we've met with Anderson on things that we could move out that didn't necessarily have to be done this year. And so that, I'm looking for it, that was pushed out to 28 because that was one that could wait another year.
Okay, because siding and stuff on that building is getting in pretty bad shape. So if he thinks it can be moved out, I guess, but
We did meet with him, we didn't
Yeah.
just move them. If you want us to relook at it and as a group, y'all want us to do that, we absolutely can.
I think we can triage based on the stuff that we met with him on site about over there and take care of some of the immediate things out of building enhancements and use this for some of the larger scale things in future year.
okay, that works.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The bleachers are to replace bleachers that are at end of life. Okay.
What was that?
Bleachers, it was to replace bleachers that are at end of life, that are throughout the high school complex.
In hospice. I said they're in hospice.
Yes. Thought that's what you
You
said. I
can
was
tell
making
we've
sure.
all been in our house for 10 days, can't you? That,
I have not been in my
Sorry.
house for 10 days.
When bleachers reach the end of life, is that because they have some date stamped on them that, like a helmet or something, that's
They've fallen
perfectly
apart.
usable?
Mr. Barnes, do you know the answer? I don't know the answer. I can find out.
Well, I know some of the needs were to add some more seating to the new turf complex, because that's going to now be used for middle school kids. And that's one of the things, we need some additional seating over there. So I know some
Well,
of that.
this one says for end of life bleachers.
Oh, yeah, those wooden ones, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, they down.
And that's on that side where the
Us-
visitors come and all, that's.
What used to happen, you used to see your shop class down there and put new tuber tins, salt treated and redo them, but them days over with.
I think all the new bleachers that they're buying over there now are aluminum,
Yeah.
right? They're getting
Right.
away from the wooden ones.
Yep.
But those have a lifespan too. They
Oh, sure.
get dented up and bent and then, start
Can
losing.
become
The,
unsafe.
The brace, I've seen one over there, the brace is broke.
Right.
Well, that's what I was asking, are they because they're deteriorating to a point where they need replacing? Or is it because it's got some arbitrary date on it
No,
that
I ain't got
says,
that date
I
on it.
think it's
More
deteriorated to
need.
the point that they need to replace it.
Yeah, ain't no date on it.
a lot of this stuff though is, especially with fire and EMS, it's got a date on it. Some of the stuff's never been out the package. You can't use it.
All right,
Okay.
ready?
Any other questions on the Capitol? Okay. Well, then we can move on to outside agencies. I emailed you that big book, so after the last meeting, and it's on the website, so, but for today, you've got two papers here. One is our normal, the way we always look at it, and then one's sorted by the amount of the request. So if the request, if they only wanted an additional 300 versus, but the finance committee met, and these were just some of their suggestions with the one that has some yellow on it, but definitely for discussion. I've also given you some descriptions on what some of the changes were for based on their write-ups for you that I sent it, but I wanted y'all to have a copy as well, a hard copy. So if it's okay with you, what we normally do is just go down through these. Y'all tell me if you are good with the request, if you want to make a change, or if you want to meet with the agencies, and then I can bring them in for our next budget session. Would that
Let's
be
do
okay?
them 5 at a time.
Sure. Now, on the first 5 here, this Northern Virginia Emergency Response, that is a new, TGEMS is no longer, thank you, in existence. And so this is another regional group that Fire and EMS feels like they're being advantaged to join. Chris gave me an estimate when the budget process first started of 13,000. They sent more information today after I had all this prepared. The actual cost is 20,000. So I have to make that change to the request. I just wanted you to know that.
Actual request.
Their request, so it's, I don't know what it's based on per se, just reading on it, they figure up what it would cost for all the allocations in the for all the localities in their region that they're working with. They get grant funding and it helps, for grant funding and things like that. I did send back and ask if there was any way to keep it at the 13,000, but I don't know yet.
What exactly do they do for us in Northern Virginia? I remember what Thomas Jefferson EMS Council was. Is it similar? Just
It
so
is.
people-
If you remember, OEMS went through a pretty rough patch there over the past 12 to 16 months where they had an audit and uncovered things that needed to be done differently, and they essentially changed the entire structure of how those regional agencies or those regional bodies function. So, some of the biggest things that they do, if you're going to get state funding for apparatus, for example, like for a new ambulance, then this regional agency would rank the requests of entities within the region and essentially direct the funding to certain localities before other localities. And if
Okay.
you're in that region, you get that ranking, and if you're not a part of that, then
You
you
don't.
don't get that ranking and you don't get the favorable funding look. And we
Fund
do,
them at 13 instead of 20, maybe they look at you a little less favorably.
I'm sorry,
If you only give them 13,000 when they ask for 20, maybe you get less favorable ranking.
maybe
That's a
so.
pretty good deal, though, that if you don't fund us, we're not going to direct any state and federal funding to you.
Yeah, yeah.
The
So,
mafia would be proud of that.
What they did this time is they looked at what we funded TGEMS at last time we funded them. It's been a couple years. It was like 19,005, something around that. That's not the exact amount, but it was a little over 19,000. And it's
last time we
been
funded
several
was zero.
years. Well, yeah, that is true because they weren't in existence. But the last time we actually gave them money, and I think they based it off of that, which they said was 20,000, but they said that was giving us a 4% discount.
Good customer discount.
That's the ask. We don't, it's up to y'all if we fund it. I have asked for, I have a lot of more questions for
Why
them.
don't we
and I
set that
have.
one aside until
Okay.
you get an answer?
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we going to do the 5 on the sheet with the yellow or the 5, like which order are we going to go on?
Just keep going, just do fine.
Perfect. Okay. So Rappahannock Juvenile Center, 368,772. Like I told you previously, this is a little more than they asked for, but our numbers there have been running high. So I did increase that just because I don't want our budget to be short next year if at the end of the year, because we have to true up every year based on what our actual is. Central Virginia Regional Jail, that ask is $2,626,163, the same as last year. TGEMS, nothing because they're no longer there. This, we're going to wait on this Northern Virginia emergency.
So that number should be 20, you think?
20, so you might want to make a note, but I'll ask to get more information. And then the Transportation Safety Commission of 1,200. Is that a good place to stop there?
Yep, that's fine. Anybody have any questions on those 5? All right.
Are they all good? Okay. Then, Department of Health, their ask this year was for $871,871. That is an increase of $112,000, but theirs is based on a formula and their expenses and their federal matches and things like that, and we generally do have to fund those. Child Health Partnership, $65,920. That's the same amount as last year's request. Foothills Child Advocacy Center, this is a new request we didn't fund this one last year. They're asking,
More than last year's request.
Well, it is. We did not fund it last year, so 15,000 is the ask for this year.
Yeah, he's back on Child Health Partnership, I think.
Yeah, it was 64,000. You're looking at the wrong column.
Oh, you're right. I am looking at the wrong column.
1920.
It is 15, yep, 1920
modest
more.
increase.
Yep, it is. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm on the wrong column.
Child Advocacy Center?
It's
In
a,
Charlottesville.
somebody that does good. There's a lot of do-gooders out there. That maybe we need to fund them more.
No.
Then the Resource Council is asking for 119,000 this year. That is an additional ask of 24,000.
And the Finance Committee recommended a $5,000 increase.
Yeah, to 100,000. Should we stop there with those?
Is that five?
No, do MACA.
Yeah.
And then MACA, we gave them 2,000 last year. They're requesting 30,000 this year. And the Finance Committee is recommending 0.
Have they got Head Start back going again?
No, and they won't be adding it back. They have Project Discovery and then just home emergency repairs is all
Yeah,
they
we,
have.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm good.
Right, so,
That's
So
fine.
let's just make sure everybody's good.
yep. So
On the
Department of
resource-
Health,
Hold on, no, Resource Council. That's really the,
Health's okay, Child Health Partnership's okay, 0 for Foothills. Y'all are good with that one? And then stop at Resource Council?
yeah.
Okay.
Everybody fine with the $5,000 increase?
Yeah.
Just make sure, okay.
Why did they want $20,000 more? Do we know?
They wanted 24, 20,
And they
Yeah,
said,
there's some
6,000.
justification in their request.
yeah, I've got it here. They, 19,000 for increased food distribution cost and 5,000 for an increase in their programming, such as they have the dental programming and they have another program. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but
they
that's.
do a
the
great
increase.
job. We were happy to add $5,000 for them.
Okey doke?
You're good with the Finance Committee of 0 recommendation?
Barr
Okay.
said, yeah.
Okay. So next we have Region 10. Their ask is $292,931. This is an increase. What this is funded, $145,000 is funded with general fund, and the rest is funded with opioid abatement money. And they make sure that all their programs, when they meet with people, they also give opioid abatement information to, education to help people, that may have those issues, not have those issues, and anything they can do to help. It also funds a clinician that we added with opioid abatement. So that's why it's bigger. But it's 2 different funding sources in that pot of money.
Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to get a report of the results of that position we
I have
added.
it.
You got it?
I have it. I get it every quarter because we get a little bit of a grant for that with
Okay.
opioid abatement. I'll send it to you.
All right, thank you.
The opioid abatement information, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Yep, I can send you all that information.
thank you so much.
Okay. Then JABA, their amount they're requesting is $292,566, same as last year. The Piedmont Regional Dental Clinic, we did not fund them last year. They are asking for $2,500 this year. Shelter for Help,
In the region we didn't, is that just repeats the dental program that the Resource Council currently does.
Is that the dental clinic that's in Orange?
yeah, it's not local. I won't say it's not local, but it is in Orange.
Yeah.
Yes. It serves 8 municipalities in the region for low-income children and adults. But it is similar to what the Resource Council does as well. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3. Shelter for Help in Emergency, their ask is the same as last year, 18,900. Then Offender Aid, they are asking for $32,076. That is an increase of about a little under $6,000. And then,
What is,
Five.
what exactly is that for?
That's trying to put criminals back into the society successfully.
You're out on parole, things
If
like
you
that.
offend somebody, they restore you.
this funds a local probation officer and a criminal justice planner.
They're
I
orange,
see
right?
Neil Goodlow used to work for before he left.
I know who it's for,
are they?
but
I think.
the funding is not going to the criminals, it's going to the people.
going to
that
the
are trying-
No,
Yeah, no.
In the offender aid and restoration, aren't they in orange?
They're
Charlottesville, I
regional.
think.
They're
don't know where
reading
they
in
are.
Charlottesville.
right there by the circuit court, I thought.
Oh, I'm thinking the reentry council.
Right. But the whole concept is not,
They went to-
the whole concept is not to have repeat offenders.
You might have multiple
Reentry
offices.
council is at our DHS office.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think they're in orange too, because I think David had to go in orange.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. Yeah, that's right.
Are those the only two of those agencies that we fund
Reentry and OAR.
that do that? Where they take
Yes.
people out of jail and try and get them back into workforce?
I think so.
Yeah, it's my knowledge, yes. Offender aid and reentry.
They try to reduce the recidivism rate.
It does.
The reentry council does a really good job.
And then adult community education, they are asking for an additional 2,000 this year. They're asking for 10,000 instead of 8,000. They said that they hated to do that, but their costs just keep going up and up and up. So they did ask for a little more.
What is not in the school budget?
What's that?
What is that not in the school budget?
Which one, the ACE?
Adult education, yeah.
They are a separate entity.
Because
But-
don't the school, they run that GED
They
program?
do run the
school
GED
runs that
program.
Program Barbara Wilson does, right?
Lola Richardson was doing it.
Mary Krantz, I think.
Krantz was,
years.
yeah.
It's done a good job in the county for a long time.
Yeah.
Fletcher,
Susan?
Susan.
This, it says this is, helps fund the salaries of the two part-time
Good
employees
session.
that make it successful. And then their expenses for salaries, rent, mailings.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna fight over that. I just wonder.
More than 5. So from Region 10 down to ACE.
That's 6. You overachieved.
I did go over, I achieved. One was a new one, the Piedmont Dental Clinic that the Finance Committee did not recommend funding.
We just weren't looking to add a bunch of new people to the county dole.
Are y'all good with those? Next, we have Jaunt. The request is for $581,263. That is about at $18,000 from last year.
It's 11,000.
And,
11,000, 10,
Did I-
3, 10, 4.
oh, 11, yep. 10,378.
Scared me.
It's for increased insurance cost and capital cost, according to their write-up. And then, Virginia Career Works, they've gone to they've had a formula, but the amount, it's based on population and so much per capita. So they have gone from 20 cents per capita to 40 cents per capita in their ask is the difference. So with our population growing a little bit and them increasing their amount per person in the county, that's the reason for that increase. Louisa Reentry Council, that is about a $2,500 increase, and that's just for a minor increase in their salaries. We have 2 part-time people that work on that program out of DHS for reentry. Fluvanna Housing, their request is for $134,450 for their housing program, and then there was an additional request for $50,000 for home repairs. Of those two, the Finance Committee did not recommend doing the emergency home repair program. That's a program that would be added that we haven't been doing.
But we are funding them at their original ask
It
here.
is, the only thing
Good.
that's been reduced is they had put in their write-up that if we abated the taxes, to take that amount off of their ask, and that's what we did.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only change in that, and this is the way it's been presented because we had done that a couple weeks ago. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 if we count the
If
emergency home
you
repairs.
abated the taxes, reduced to 50,000.
So they had, I don't remember, they had like, they wanted like, how much they want, 200 and some thousand?
They wanted like 160,000, I'm going off
So we
memory.
abated some
and-
taxes, so we took the tax abatement off the ask, because if they don't have to pay it, that's what they said to do, so we did.
Yeah. They had asked for 164,450, but they said that if they abated the taxes, we could remove 30,000 from their ask. It was in the write-up.
And we did abate the taxes.
And so the 50,000 is totally different. That's a,
Okay, that's what I was getting
Yeah,
at,
that's-
the
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 50,000.
50 is still at zero. We just didn't feel like it was the taxpayers' burden to pick up expenses for home
Just trying to
repairs.
figure whether
It
the
cleared up.
abatement had something to do with the 50,000.
It doesn't.
I got
no,
It
just,
had something to do with the line above it.
yeah, so if you had read and wondering why I had reduced it, that's why it was, and they had put it in their write-up that if we abated the taxes, then that would lower their cost.
Could we at least ask her to come and just, I know that you all don't feel that we should fund it, and I respect that and understand that, but could we at least have her come and just talk about this emergency home repairs thing, just in general, and just share with us how many seniors in our community that this is helping, and why she feels that the 50,000 is important, just to find out.
I'm all right with that.
You're okay with that? Yeah.
Well, I certainly can see right now where weatherization would be a good program.
What's that?
Weatherization right now
I know, right?
would be a good program.
But I'd just like to hear her thoughts, and I'm fine if we all decide no, but I just wanted to give her a
I'm fine
chance
with
to
that.
discuss
I'm fine
it.
with
Okay.
Can somebody remind me what the function of the Virginia Career Works Piedmont Workforce Network is? Because that's a, I mean, percentage-wise, that's a significant increase. I'm just trying to understand what they're doing. I don't remember.
They do training?
Yeah, they do
They
business
help with
counseling,
counseling,
small
hiring.
business counseling, that type of thing for a number of.
Workforce development and job seeking assistance.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a perfect example of somebody they've worked with, because they do have they've had an impact in the county. Scott Randlett. He credits a lot of his success to them.
I feel like they came here and gave us a report one
they
time.
did.
Oh, yeah,
With some
she's,
slides and showed some people that we knew in the community that had.
Oh, yeah, she's
gotten
awesome,
small
man.
business counseling or advice from them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
She has them.
are they not the group that holds the funding that we were looking at for helping people get first-time homes?
nah.
Okay, all right.
That's Piedmont Housing
Piedmont Housing
Alliance.
Alliance, okay, sorry.
Yeah. They're next, Piedmont Housing Alliance.
Oh, okay, that's who I thought we were talking about. I missed that, okay.
Let's talk about the Virginia Career Works Piedmont Workforce Network.
Okay, totally different, sorry, skip that.
That's 5 if you,
Yeah, if we want to,
Did.
I went and did one more because we were going to hold off on the housing.
Overachieving
did you
again.
bless
We
me?
did.
I think we did.
That's fine. So John's, Virginia Career Works,
Oh, I jumped way down.
Reentry, and the regular Housing Foundation ask. Y'all are good with those four?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to ask her to come and talk about the repairs. Okay. Next is Piedmont Housing Alliance. They're asking for 8,000, which is an additional 1,000 over last year. Piedmont Virginia Community College, theirs is just a
That's-
couple
that's a
$100.
formula, right?
It's a formula, it is.
There's Jay Sargent. Both
It
those are formulas,
absolutely
too.
is, yep. And the ag fair, that might be too many, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, the ag fair is asking for the same amount as last year, of 7,500.
I got a question about that. Like a long story short, if you go back to the original request, I'm a big supporter of getting ag fair money, I haven't changed. But with this tourism money now, is that being utilized for the ag fair? That's what I thought.
We give them money for their programming through the tourism. I think
Oh,
this pays
okay.
some of their operational.
Like tent rentals and stuff like that.
And their acts. We've given them quite a bit of money.
If I
for
remember
their
correctly,
acts.
it's for
For the
their
tourists, for the
insurance,
tourists, for
their
the tourism
liability
money.
insurance.
Oh, that makes sense. I bet that is very expensive.
Okay.
This is the part that I've supported every year for ages. But I did not support that boatload of money we gave them for acts, and stuff like that last year. Or I mean, for this go-round. I think that it drifted away from an ag fair. So I'll support this, but if we got anywhere in here where we're,
No,
That comes to y'all as separate
Now,
requests.
that comes from the
No.
Tourism Advisory Committee.
Yeah,
No.
That was tourism money.
yeah, tourism is
get the
handled a little
vote.
different.
I don't know.
Yeah, you'll still get the opportunity.
that'd be horrible to have to vote no for a $180 million budget for $15,000 for the ag fair.
Well, when they
took that vote,
dropped
no.
the name ag fair from it,
It's now Louisa County Fair.
Yeah,
I've got
right.
Ag Fair on my chart here, but it is now called the Louisa County Fair.
well, I'd support it if it stayed the ag fair.
So you're against the 7,500 now?
No, he's good. He's good.
That was the same amount as last year.
Leave the ag fair right in there, don't
Or he's
change
not
it.
gonna support it.
All
Okay.
right, so in those five, everybody good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Wanda.
Right. Louisa County Historical Society, they are asking for 23,260 is FY '26. They're asking for 24,027. Now, last year, part of their 23,260 was paid for with tourism dollars. 13,260 was. This year, they asked for it out of all general fund dollars, but if that's something you want to do out of all general fund dollars, that's fine. Or we can have them make the other part of the request. It was for their visitor center, I believe, to man the visitor center.
Yes, it was from Manny Center.
But that's up to you guys.
That's a small of enough increase to where I'm okay with it like it is.
Well, 10,000 of that 23 from last year did get funded out of tourism money. So it's more like 20, it's like 13,000.
Why don't you do this? Why don't they go through the process again? Because you can't, that's a process to get
It
through tourism
is,
money.
and we
You're
had
still
'em-
putting it here, and you can say to fund that, we're going to use these funds and leave these in
And
the
ask
general
them to do
funds.
the process again, just like
If you
last
want
year?
to, you can do that.
Okay.
But
Yep.
the budget still needs to be 20.
And that's what we did last
$4,000.
year. We just asked them to apply for tourism dollars for part of it.
That's what that tourism money's there for.
It is,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, I think, I agree
I just want to
with
make sure y'all are okay with
Supervisor
me making that
Williams.
request of them. Okay.
Still keep it in the budget. Get them to fund it out of that, and we'll be good.
All right. So I think it was like 10,000 of general fund and then the rest out of tourism is what we did last year. Okay. The Arts Center, their request is for $80,000. The Finance Committee is recommending $60,000, which is what we funded last year.
So why don't we just have that same conversation about the Arts Center that we just had about the Historical Society? I mean, the Arts Center has programming that draws people into the county. Last time Karen was here, she talked about that.
Yeah.
So some of
And
that tourism money could be redirected. I mean, I think you leave the number here. As Mr. Williams said, build the budget, but ask them to apply.
so, but how much? So you're saying
80,000.
leave the 80 and tell them for the 20 they
No.
can
No, no,
see.
No, no,
60.
leave the 60.
60
Well,
and-
my thought would be the 60, but
You leave
But
the
how much
60
of the
and apply for
60
the
should I
20.
ask them to apply for because the tourism program does have certain guidelines. I mean, yes, it does
Does.
fall under there. So what?
that was the whole reason, that was the only reason, that's the only tax increase I've ever voted for. Because it's a tax increase on transient occupancy, people who don't live here and come in.
Do you want me to ask them to
Yeah.
apply for the whole 60 through that? Is that what, I'm just making sure
Well,
I
don't-
understand.
I don't know that we would do that, but
So what
let them
amount-
look at their programming.
Okay.
I think they probably have programming that's not going to fall under the guidelines. so-
Okay.
But my thought would be ask them to,
So for part of the 60,
whatever falls under
ask
the
them to-
guidelines of the
okay.
TOT,
Okay.
that they apply for the maximum amount that would be eligible. And
Okay.
if they
Miss-
don't get it, they don't get it. But, there's an opportunity to do it.
Mr. Chairman. I think if we're going to leave that amount in for the Historical Society, I think we need to leave that in there for the Arts Center as well. In other words, the Historical Society, we're saying that, how much
They
was
asked
it,
for
Wanda?
another $740.
Yeah. So what?
No,
The
it
Historical
was-
Society have 10,000 general fund, and they can ask for, I'll still keep the 24,000 in here, but it'll be tourism. That'll
It's-
have to be come through the
This
tourism program.
24,000, that's basing it on getting money from the tourism, just like they did last year.
It's including,
Part of
Included
it.
in there. That's
it was a
right.
$740 increase from the year
So,
before. This is a $20,000 increase from the year before.
yeah, but other than the dollar amount, the principle is the same, right?
Well, it is. I
No,
tell you.
it's not. Hold
Well,
on.
okay.
And here's why I'd say it's not. And I'm a supporter, right? And I just had this conversation with somebody today. When I first got on the board, they were I think they were in year 8 or 9 of a 10-year commitment from the county to fund them for $60,000 to get them up and running. And at the time, I think don't hold me to these, but it's close. Their internal fundraising was 11 or 12%. And there was a lot of and they were in debt. They were in debt to the town and all sort of things. And there was a commitment made on them. And frankly, Stephanie Corrin took over their fundraising. Now they're fundraising, because I ask Karen every time she's here, somewhere in the 30%, where they're actually high 30s, and they're raising it. But, I mean, the reason I've never supported an increase is because the 10 years is 6 years in the past from the original commitment. And I think we're just kind of extending the original commitment. I mean, that's just my thoughts.
Go ahead.
Well, if I'm understanding correctly, for the tourism, this total that's on here would include the tourism money.
That,
No,
I'm
they have
trying
to-
to make sure I understand too.
Well,
So
they have to
for-
apply for it.
So Historical Society, I'm keeping 24,000 on here, but we're only giving them 10, and they have to apply for the other 14.
That's not true. I don't think that's what we said. Excuse me, but I don't think.
That's what we did last year.
I think what we said is we're going to keep 24,000 in here.
Right.
They can apply for it. If it gets approved, then we'll fund it out of there instead of the general fund. If they don't get approved, we're still committing to $24,000. That's what I just heard us say. Now,
Okay.
maybe I made that up.
No, that's
Define
helpful.
it in that sentence, though.
It.
They can apply for it.
They're going to apply for money from the transit occupancy tax for tourism.
But that is over and above.
No, it's
the-
not. It is inclusive of that. We're just, we're going to allow them $24,000. If they apply for $10,000.
Including TOT.
Including from the TOT, then the general fund would only be responsible for 14, and the 10 would come from the transit occupancy tax. We would maintain $10,000 more dollars in the general fund. That's what I heard us say.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
I think that's what you said.
I did not understand it that way when we talked about it first.
Okay.
So,
Because if you take the funding to 13 or 14 now, then they only have 14. And if suppose they don't get the TOT money, suppose the TOT group meets and says, "No, we're not giving it to them," then they don't have their funding for the year. Am I right
The
on
way
that?
we did it last year is we sent it to the committee and said y'all had already approved it to come from that fund. And then they filled out the paperwork, but it was approved because the board had pre-approved it per se. That's how we did it
reasonable or
last year.
not.
We can do it however y'all want, just
so
Christian has.
I'm fine with keeping it at 60.
Okay.
So 60 is what we're keeping it at, and fund as much as they can out of TOT with an application.
And if they
Okay.
have, if there's TOT money and they can apply for other things too, then they should do that. I mean, they should.
And, I mean, that's separate from what we're working on right here.
It
in my
is.
opinion.
Yes, it is.
It is.
But what we're looking, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, here's my opinion on TOT money. I don't want people to start treating it as a crutch, because you may not get it next year. Because you got it this year, doesn't mean you're gonna get it next year. So I don't want people to start treating it as a crutch, because it's an annual.
So that was the same theory with why we're keeping the 60 in the Art Center, because it encourages them to not, once you get to 80, they're going to always want 80. And I'm not saying they're not worth 80. And I'm just saying, if they can make it on 60 and they can make it from somewhere else, that's what we're asking them to do. And we're going to get down to the next one here in a minute, and I'm going to have real fun with that one.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I remember when the Arts Center was only supposed to be funded for 5 years.
Well, yeah.
I remember it was only supposed to be funded for 5 years.
Well,
See where we are now.
and to your point about the crutch, I think it's important, I think what we're talking about here, to Mr. Woodward's point and Mr. Williams's point, is just a funding source. Right. I mean, and it may not be the same funding source next year, because that may not be there.
Christian has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just looking, I just thought you were looking.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes, please.
There was a downtown development grant that the Arts Center gets. that
We still, that's
passed through.
4,500.
Is it, it's not part of this?
No, we don't budget for grants. We infuse it in during the
I just
year.
wanted to make sure.
Yeah, they still get that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I make it may not be the last comment, it may stimulate other comments, but I would like to make a comment about the importance of the Louisa Arts Center and the economic well-being of Louisa County. One, I would challenge you to come up with a tourism-related draw other than the Louisa Arts Center. And there are some, but in the downtown area, other than the new train that we have now, except
said
the Louisa Arts Center. So we do have an interest, I believe, as a county in making sure that the Arts Center is funded, whether it's at 60 or whatever it is with the TOT. We don't want to limit them to 60. They may be able to get more TOT money because I think they did some TOT money for a big act that they were having. They had a big concert. They needed to pay a higher premium for that. And those are the big money makers. I sit in on that committee at the chairman's suggestion, and I listen to their budgets. And where they make their money are their bigger acts. Those are usually sellouts. Other than that, it's difficult for them to make there's very little revenue there other than grants and fundraising. So well, I think it is important that center remains a part of our Main Street economic engine and as probably a small part of what's going on in Louisa County. Because it would be interesting to see what it brings to us in fringe benefits as well. And I think they are doing something with the new scenic railway as well. They're doing some type of dinner theater program. Just something, food for thought.
And I would add, since you brought it up, and Mr. Woodward, I think you know more about this than I do, but the addition of the Virginia Scenic Railways, if Christmas was any indication of the success of that program, I saw over the weekend that there are 2 Main Street stores that are closing, Farm Stand and Mini Mart or something. Anything that I think the county can do to help facilitate traffic to both of our towns, both Mineral and Louisa, and that feeds off into the lake, and it feeds off into the wineries, and it feeds off into all of that. I think it's a real opportunity for a lot of collaboration between the county and the Arts Center and the Historical Society and some of these other entities that are bringing people in. So,
I agree, Mr. Chairman.
go ahead.
Just FYI, the additional 20,000 that they are requesting, it was for repairs for the arts bus and a new generator for the arts bus, as well as ramps for the arts bus. So that's what the additional money would have been used for.
Maybe they can take some of the 60,000 and put it in those things
Yes.
and use tourism money for the other.
Yep, definitely an option. Okay, James Madison Regional Library.
I have a request. I would like to take random sampling of 15 operating days over the next 4 months and get a head count of who comes in and out of that thing that's not an employee. I don't know how we get that, but pick the days and sampling days. Does anybody ever use the library for the library? I don't ever.
Yeah,
You think so?
they actually sent
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah. It gets pretty heavy usage.
A lot of use.
I have to park before we moved the pods, right there at the library and walk up. And that parking lot in the library, I parked on the school side, but it was always filled. And a few meetings that we had for the bridge and we went over there, it was filled with people coming in and out, and
Yeah.
kids and like little ones, not school age.
And I tell you what, Supervisor Williams, it get used so much that Supervisor Jones and I have had some brief conversation about a satellite,
Yes.
trying
we
to find a
have
building that's already existence
in
at Zion's
the western end.
Crossroads. I don't know if you all seen some of these satellites where you have a storefront. But I get phone calls all the time
Me too.
about people wanting to have a library in the east end of the county.
Yeah,
West.
West End, yeah, they do. I get them too. So I have to say, it is very well used by many people.
Okay.
And it also includes for the bookmobile to go to the locations like y'all are
Yes,
talking about.
The people West End, they didn't know we had a bookmobile. They took it up there, they didn't know we had
They
one.
should.
Can you talk about, though, the justification for that increase? in the-
Yes,
in the
yes,
budget?
absolutely.
And I will say this while you're looking it up. I mean, I think $500,000 is a lot of money, but we take, or my wife takes a lot, I go sometimes, our granddaughter to the library on the weekends. And there's usually 35, 40 kids in there in the afternoon. So
Yeah, easily.
I was surprised at that, too.
Increase is 24,731 is for regional costs, which would be the salaries and the cost that's shared amongst all the different areas. Local costs, which are local salaries, an increase of 14,344, and that's to add additional substitute hours for the library of about 3,200 to keep with the schedule that they have. And then it also includes $65 additional for the bookmobile. They did actually ask for 25,000 more than this, but they found grant funding and wrote us back and reduced their request. So,
You know, we've talked about this idea from time to time. I'd be curious to know what it would cost us to assume the administrative, in other words, absorb the library and make it part of the county and run it through the schools.
That'd be a big ask.
I don't think we want to do that.
Schools would want that.
I don't think we want to do it.
Yeah. You know, you start clipping it off, it's $500,000, $600,000 a year. I don't know. I mean, if the board doesn't want to do that, that's fine. I don't, but
They-
I remember when we were discussing it, and it was
Our-
$280,000 a year. And of course, you've been here a lot longer than I have.
What you trying to say?
I mean, if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it, but,
there is a breakdown of all the expenses in the
In the
book,
book?
like line by
Okay.
line on how they spend their regional dollars and at each location, if you want to see exactly where they're spending it.
and understand,
it's in here.
I didn't
Yeah.
suggest we turn it into a Starbucks.
I did.
I was just,
We
I
don't
was
need
just,
Let's not revisit that. Mr. Chairman, I have a question for you
Yes, sir.
about the suggestion you just
You
made,
were
which
scared to say it.
was.
seems to be reasonable. I mean, what would the goal of that be? To see if we could lower operating and administrative costs?
lower cost, lower cost.
And gain more control so that, should there ever be an issue, we would be
Yeah,
able to deal
I
with it
don't-
internally?
Well, I would define control as control of the cost. I don't want to ban books and I don't want to do all that sort of thing, but well, you got to be, no, you have to say that, because if you say control the library, people can take that
okay.
15 different ways to Sunday. I'm just looking if it's a possibility, if it became under the umbrella of the county, if it would save us money. If it wouldn't save us money, you know, sometimes regional alliances are good, sometimes they're bad. In my opinion, more times than often, they're bad. But, you know, this is one that has worked well. But continually, you see the cost of the regional library go up and up and up. And, you know, I'll point out, we had an issue 4 years ago
Yeah.
where they wanted to change the name of the library. Now, that's the kind of control that, you know, I think should be exerted. Well, we did exert that locally, and we exercised our veto power along with 2 other counties.
Yes,
So,
did.
you know, it's budget time, so you just throw these ideas out.
Would,
I think the last time we looked at this, so obviously we've got a strong relationship with the library representatives now, as you all know, and and that was part of this discussion about about reducing this cost ask a little bit now. You know, when you look, I was just paging through their actual budget request while we were sitting here talking, and I think if we look at taking it from a regional effort down to a local effort, a lot of the costs that are shared regionally on an allocation basis with Louisa based on usage we're gonna pick up 100% of. So if you buy a subscription to the Richmond Times-Dispatch, instead of splitting it by the number of users we have versus the number everybody else has, you're gonna pay 100% of that, and every database, everything that we do is probably gonna fall into that bucket. It's certainly not to say that we can't take another look at it now. But I think we did run across some of that information last time, a few years back when we looked at doing
Profit
this.
center,
so.
Starbucks.
Oh, and again, maybe that's the answer. It's just, this would, if we were going to have the conversation,
Yeah.
this would have been the time to have the conversation.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
With so much of your books and stuff like that that you are online, are people really going into the libraries to
Yeah,
pick
they
up
are.
hard copies?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I read a hard copy. I can't stand
My
to
daughter
read
got a
digital
degree in
book.
journalism, and she hates digital copies. She loved that book.
Oh, well, my, Marianne, she reads, got these little thing, I don't forget what you call it, but, she orders these books continually and reads them, and most of the people that I know of, that's what they're reading, but they're reading off of, can't think what you
Kindle.
call those, Kindles,
Kindle.
yeah. And,
You can check out electronic copies from the
From the
library
library,
as
but
well.
Yep.
that's what's happening. They're checking them out from the library.
so they have to go through the regional library to get them.
They can.
Can.
Well, you don't have to buy
Hey,
the book.
You don't have to
they're
buy the
free.
book.
You don't have to buy the book, because you still buy the book even if you get it electronically.
Right.
And I suspect, to Mr. Barlow's point, 20 years from now, the people that I just said I can't stand to read it digitally, I like to have a book, it'd probably be 80-20 the other way, where most people want to do it digitally.
I'm not involved with the library that much, so to me, $500,000 is astronomical. We've made these jumps in huge amounts over a short period of time. Like you were saying, we went from 200-some thousand, it hadn't been 5 years ago. And now we're up to 500,000. And what really got me, when they told us they had 80, I think, I've forgotten now, it's been a while, but 87,000 visits to the library. And I'm like, how are you counting that? You know, somebody stand there where the hinges off the door. So I think it had to have been online visits, every sort of thing. But it just seems like an awful lot of money to me, compared to some of the other agencies. I mean, when you have an art center that really puts on stuff for the whole county to come see, I just don't see the value of this library in comparison to something like the art center. And it's a huge money difference. So I don't know.
You got to get more grounded, Tommy. You got to get more grounded. You got to get more grounded.
Maybe I thought I was.
Yes, ma'am.
Just some information from the request. This is FY '25 was a banner year. So between Charlottesville, Albemarle, Green, Louisa, and Nelson, patrons checked out 1.9 million items, the highest in their history.
I tell you what, get rid of it and get by your phone.
Well, now, wait, nobody was suggesting we get rid of it. Let's just, Mitchell, nobody, and Tammy, nobody was suggesting we get rid of it. We're just
Get rid of it and
looking
get by
at.
your telephone.
Boys did.
They said get rid of it and get by your phone.
And I think it's, I mean, I love to read, and I'm from the mountains. I didn't see the ocean in person until I was 18 after I'd graduated from high school, but I had visited it hundreds of times through books that I read. So, again, I'm just looking, my whole comments were,
Starbucks.
is there a way to
And Mr. Chairman.
to be more efficient? Maybe not. It sounds like there's not. Yes, sir.
And briefly, so we won't keep beating this down. But those of you that do background, and you can do the background, but I learned to read at Walter Cecil Rawl Public Library in Cortland, Virginia. The summer book programs,
Yeah, those are good programs.
and that's how I learned to read. I had a mother with a 8th grade education and dad with a 3rd grade education. And we had school teachers in our community that would take us to Walter Cecil Rawls Library every week. So I'm a big supporter of the public library.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Ms. Woodward?
it would be nice if they would give us those figures based on air library,
They may
Instead
have
of-
it in here. I can dig.
system-wide.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I can ask.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Be nice to have a comparison between
All of them.
the regional
Yeah.
libraries in this, that are connected in this region.
Again, final comment, could stimulate others, don't want to beat a dead horse. Again, it's the same concept of bringing people to the county of Louisa. You know, they come to the library to learn to read, excellent testimonial, Supervisor Barnes, or they come for free internet. Like so many low-income people don't have even Firefly because they can't afford it. There are things that the library do provide. There's a public meeting room, which I've been to, as you've been to a number of times. It's not just books anymore. So we have to look at it as yet another reason for someone to come to Louisa County, maybe have lunch downtown, or, I don't know, do something else. Maybe even, God forbid, want to come here and live. But it is a nice part of the community. I know it's expensive, I agree. But you have to understand it does bring dollars to the county as well.
No doubt. All right, I think we
I'll
have,
ask for that information.
And this
Do you want
horse
me
is
to
dead.
ask them to come to the next meeting and bring that information, or just get it and send it
get
to you
it.
once I get it?
get
Okay.
it.
Yep. All right. Alright, next, we have the Central Virginia Partnership for Economic Development, $30,657. That's also based on a per capita amount. That group has helped us with a lot of our economic development programs. They helped us with the Shannon Hill Business Park and some other programs.
Don't forget the PDC, Wanda.
I haven't got to that one yet.
That's
Did I
right
miss
above
it? Oh, I did
Yeah.
miss it. I skipped it. Okay, I'm sorry. And the Central Virginia PDC, the Thomas Jefferson Planning District. So that, I think that's what I was looking at. So
Seems like our board
62,000.
members will help us with that.
That's based on population.
I'm messing.
As our population increases, that goes up, and we are now third on the list, not very far behind Charlottesville on what's
Oh,
paid.
Lord.
That is,
It's probably the best buy for our money,
Oh,
right
yeah.
here on this
Oh,
list.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
phenomenal.
David by itself worth that money.
oh, yeah. The next three are kind of based on population. The Thomas Jefferson Planning District, the Economic Development Partnership, and the Central Virginia Small Business Center. They're all based on per capita with a certain amount. And so those are where their numbers have increased. It's been based on the percentage growth in the county plus the per capita amount that their boards determine each year.
Excuse me. I know we just lost a small business that hand farm food, whatever. But I am excited to see the number of people trying to open up small business here in Louisa. I mean, you see a little spark, and then somebody make it, somebody won't make it. But you can tell that somebody's being encouraged to try to open up small business. I've seen a lot of little ribbon cuttings here and there, which is good.
Sometimes those ribbon cuttings will draw attention to your new store that you may not want.
I think I have five. The Historical Society, the Art Center, so I have 24,000 for the Historical Society, 60,000 for the Art Center, the library at 518,788, TJPDC at 62,586, and then the CD Ped for 30,657.
So moved.
Did we talk about LAC?
No, we're
Got there yet?
No.
Five at a time, sir, per your request.
No, I thought we were down to
She
that.
just did the five. She just said we did the five.
I got it.
Are y'all good with those five? Okay.
Yeah.
So next we have the Central Virginia Small Business Development Center. That's also based on per capita with their amount. The ask is, it looks like $1,200 extra. It's for $26,909. Then we have the IDA. These are just, now that the staff for the airport is under the county, these are just incentive payments that we know the amounts so far that we have to pay. So that's what that amount is for. And then the Thomas Jefferson Soil and Water District, 57,592. It's just a little bit more than last year.
1,600.
And then LAC, and they are asking for 28,000 this year instead of 18,000. And let me see what that additional 10 was for.
That's it.
It's generally 10,000.
Buoy
that's for-
program.
Buoys and hydrola, right?
Yeah, and then 10,000, that is for Lake Anna Civic Association.
Yes.
I remember that.
Of the 18, the additional
That's
10
a
this year is
pass-through.
for the buoy program that they want to, with that. Okay, that's the last of them. So are y'all good with those last
Yeah,
5? Okay.
Tammy's running.
We'll ask
Fix this thing
the
about library.
housing,
Yeah, yeah.
the housing to, Fluvanna Louisa Housing to join us at our next meeting.
Yeah,
Any-
just short.
Yep, okay.
All right, so
think
with the
that's it.
exceptions of what we amended it here, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
I thought we were gonna
Aye.
get more info.
We are.
Just on the ones we, yeah.
This is the ones we didn't
I
amend.
got you.
So the ones I have that we're gonna check on is the Northern Virginia Emergency Response,
Well,
the emergency home repairs.
well, we determined Northern Virginia emergency response should be about 20 grand.
Right, but
Right.
y'all weren't gonna vote on it yet.
You're just gonna report back to us if that's accurate.
Yes, yes. And,
It's no
and then the
discussion.
library, are y'all good with voting on that one or hold off on that one? Okay.
I'm good,
All right.
we're good.
All right, so those are the only 2 I have to bring back more information, and then I'll get you some other information on some of these things.
You're the best one.
Okay.
You are one.
Any other
You are
discussion?
phenomenal.
All those
Thank
in
you.
favor
Thank you
signify
all.
by
Thank
saying
you.
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed.
Then I gave you a summary of the operational budget with the capital changes that we talked about, and a few little teeny things. As I know information, I update them. There is, now we're 1,863,000 short because the grant funding that we thought for the school project, we were gonna get, have a little bit extra there, but no, they're gonna need that for something else. So we're still working on it. We still have some ideas of how to reconcile it. None of our numbers are final. The revenues we're still looking at, state revenues, local revenues, assessments. We hope to have better numbers in by mid to end of February. And the same with expenses. We're gonna keep monitoring those. But if you
Yes,
have any
Chair.
questions there?
I'm gonna use my senior privilege, you don't mind, as being on the board.
Uh-oh.
I've been through tons of budgeting. I've been to budgets when we came on Saturdays, went down to the Bed of Queen's Son, had budget workshops. During the weekdays, had staff doing budget workshops. But I can tell you right now, the process in which we engage in now, with the finance committee, Wanda and other, I mean, it opens up a lot of things, and it does. And sometimes you have to toot your own home. And I think Wanda and the finance committee and the board does a really good job. I've been on the board long enough now, and we haven't gotten to the nitty gritty yet because we're waiting for numbers. But I don't know a colleague, one of mine, that's on boards around the Commonwealth that's talking about rebates. I have not met a board yet of people I talk to from around the state,
Except for this one.
except for this board here. Media. But I have not heard anyone talk about that. And you all should be, whether or not we can meet the task or not, but the fact that we're having that conversation, you all should be committed.
You still have the floor, keep going.
I'm done. I'm done.
So next, we did say we were gonna have some town hall meetings in March to go to different areas of the county. I've sent an email to the schools. We're gonna try to set one up at Jewett, Trevilians, and at the middle schools. That would be 3, in kind of different locations. We're looking at Tuesdays or Wednesdays, unless somebody has a different date they wanted. That was the date that someone had suggested to me. And so once we have those dates, or if there's any dates y'all want me to stay away from, let me know. But we're working on getting those set up for March as well.
Christmas Eve.
Yes. We'll do them in March. And in the format that we were looking at, and still we can change it, but we were looking at maybe doing a quick 10-minute, 10-minute presentation, kind of like we do here for the board, for people that might not be able to come to the board meetings. Just kind of go over where we're at, what everything's looking at. In March, we probably won't have final numbers, but we'll have a little bit better, closer to there where we're at, and go over that, and then allow comments from the public. We'll set it at like an hour, however many they can get in, with 3-minute time limits, and that way y'all can hear what they think of what's in the budget.
An hour for the
For the
town
public
hall
comment.
or for the
No,
public comment?
Two hours
Yeah,
for the town
yeah.
hall, an hour allowed for public comment. And then the staff would have some key department heads, along with you guys, hopefully, and us here, to be there to answer any questions that people may have afterwards, one-on-one, for about 45 minutes after that.
You know, something I'd like to see, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
let the board decide, is maybe the top 4 agencies, departments,
Oh, yes.
that amount to the bulk of our money. Schools would be right there.
We talked about that.
Yeah, we-
Schools, public safety.
Public safety.
Sheriff.
Sheriff, fire, and EMS. Have them there.
Yes.
Give them, I mean, you got to be careful we don't take the whole thing, right? And I'd like to have them here to the board, you know, when we're doing this, to let Mr. Straley justify his budget request. Let the sheriff justify his budget request. Let the, you know, there's about 4 agencies that amount to 80% of the money that we spend. I think it would be a good idea for them to, you know, we've started to look through it, we've seen it, but, you know, if you're asking for 80% of our tax dollars, come and talk about it.
We're going to have them at the town hall. We can definitely have them here. I had written down that y'all didn't want to have them here since we were going to have them at the town hall, but if y'all would like to have them here at the
No,
next
I mean, we can
session-
decide that, right? We
Yeah.
can put that on an agenda, but having them at the town hall, I think would be good.
Town hall, absolutely. I have them down to invite once we have dates.
Are they giving a presentation?
We haven't worked through all those minute details. They're going to be there to answer any questions. Probably Christian and I, and we can add them in if you'd like them to present as well.
It just depends on how you want to do the, you know, we wanted to make sure we left enough time for citizen input and then having enough time to just go out and talk to people one-on-one, because you're trying to figure out what, you know, what does somebody want to receive out of this? Like, you're going to have some people that aren't going to have a high degree of familiarity, and they're going to need that overview. And then you're going to have some people that they just want to be heard.
That's right.
And then you're going to have some people that probably have really
Haters.
detailed questions that if you get into that, then, you know, it's probably going to take away from everybody else's, what they want to know. So that was the intent of splitting it up. You know, if you end up having, you know, a 10-minute overview plus 3 or 4 departments presenting down at some level of detail, I mean, you're probably going to get up to 45 minutes of presentations pretty quickly. So our thought, and again, like Wanda said, we're kind of still working through the final details, but our thought was to have them there to talk specifics, but not necessarily to present specifics. But it's definitely still in process. We're building that plan right now, and glad to take your input.
Or, Mr. Chairman, we could do one of the AI thing, Ask Wanda.
I have my first little video out there on the budget process.
Ask Wanda.
I mean, what does the board think? I mean, because I think this is really important, that we're trying to take this show on the road, so to speak. But, you know, again, I'm not sure I want to say that publicly.
Yeah. probably.
So I won't if I thought it that way. But, you know, you want people to have an opportunity to engage, but you also want, I mean, in my opinion, that where the graphic that you include in your budget presentation every year of $1, here's where your dollar goes. You know, when 4 departments take 80% of your dollar, I mean, I think those folks, and again, we've started looking at it, this is not any knock on anybody, but stand up in front of the people and tell them what you're doing with the dollar. I mean, you know, because it flows through here, but it only flows through here because they're sending that information to us. I think the more that that we require people to justify their request, I think that's good. So
We'll
anyway,
just keep working with it and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see what we can come up with.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
These sheets are awesome, and I just wish I was better at reading them.
That's because Wanda's awesome.
Yeah, well, Wanda has done it.
Well, thank
Wanda,
you.
I
I'll
like
take it.
that. Ask Wanda.
I think like 1% of humanity
Hashtag
can
ask
do.
Wanda.
Ask Wanda.
187,586 was last year's budget, right?
Yep,
187 million.
FY26.
Yeah.
Yep, that's last year's
This is what
budget.
we're thinking this year.
Yes,
229, the 22% increase potentially.
yes.
Is that right? Okay.
And that includes capital.
Okay, all right. So what we actually have at 229 and then what we actually spend after, we have, don't we have like a lot of budget amendments? I feel like every month for a while there, we had some budget amendments with things that we just didn't foresee.
Mid-year appropriations.
Grants will always be a
Grants,
budget
yes.
amendment.
And grants,
That's what a lot
pass-through
of what
type
you're
of
going to
thing.
see. We don't budget for grants.
Okay, all right, we don't budget for grants. I just want to make sure that addressing your question, and when we go to these public hearings, and if we have these public hearings, where we held them and how we'll interact with the public, that, let's say someone asks, well, you've got a 2,029,000, you got a 229,568 $1 million budget. How much more are you going to have to spend actually? And I just want to be, I know we can't predict that, but it seems like, that question may come up. So I would, just be interested to see, do we kind of have an idea of how much more we need to spend each year or no?
Everything we know
Yeah,
is
on
in
that sheet.
here, other than grants, because until we get the award letter, we try not to build grants in, because it's an unknown. There's some we're pretty sure we're going to get, but you just never know. But everything else is in there if we know about it.
Other than that, what you would be talking about, Chris, would be a supplement that wouldn't be a grant. So, if you approve a budget at the beginning of the year, let's say it's a $100 budget, right? Like Wanda said, that's our best estimate of how much it's going to cost, absent new grant money that's gonna come in and has to be added on both sides, expense and revenue. It should be $100. Really, the only thing we do supplements for, where we're gonna increase that 100 beyond grants, would be for something like, unforeseen, like a,
Like a new fire truck or a roof that needed repairing or, something along those
Well,
lines.
like
Or
this
if you want a
meeting
mid-year
today.
hire and you don't have a position for it.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, like, we're asking to put the phone system in because our phone system is dated. So we're asking to go ahead and get that done because we can save money if we do it before June 30. Our goal was to do it next year, but if we can save some money, we'd like to go ahead and get that done. That will be a supplement because that's not, or a transfer. I think I found the funding, but.
And the state code defines the budget process as being for informative and fiscal planning purposes only. And I think you can, with a very straight face, tell anyone who asks, as of right now, 4 months before the fiscal year even starts, this is our best estimate of what the 12 months that comprise fiscal year 27 will cost the taxpayers. That may change, and if it does, we'll change it publicly so that you can be a part of it.
People will ask me, so I just figured I'd ask.
Certainly.
I think having those meetings are a good idea, because it would probably eliminate a lot of people wanting to talk to Tony a long time after each one of our meetings during the budget session.
Depends on how the conversation goes.
And I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair. The other thing, another thing that Wanda is very good at, if we get into a year and we find a department needs to have a budget increase, we will look around in other departments for savings and transfer within that proverbial $100 so that we don't increase the overall $100. And that's something we work really hard on throughout the year when unexpected things come up.
Thank you.
And something else, and I can't remember who said it. I've heard it a couple times.
George Washington.
No, because George wasn't here. People need to understand that as we go through this budget process, when it starts with you and Mr. Goodwin and then the Finance Committee and then here, there are a lot of requests that never make a piece of paper. There are a lot of requests that are $100, and when they show up here, they're $50. We don't budget, and somebody said it last year, and it was wrong. We don't budget to a department's request. departments make requests based on what they're forecasting, and then, you know, as it works through the process, the numbers are cut a lot. And it is, and I don't ever lose sight of it. I mean, not a whole lot, not to the level of Mr. Williams, but, you know, I pay a little bit in taxes here, so part of this is my money. And you spend it like it's your money. You spend it like it's the taxpayers' money. It is the taxpayers' money. So, you know, the other thing I would say, and are we recording this? Is this recorded? So hopefully people watch this workshop and the next ones we do, because nobody's here. We've advertised it. Yeah, Tammy's here and Mitchell's here and
Nobody's
Griff came down because it's about supper time. But people, I would encourage people to get involved in this process the entire time. I'm really interested to see if we hold 3 budget open houses across the county. How many people come? How many people come? Because they'll come the day we set the tax rates, and they'll come the day we pass the budget, but they don't typically get involved in the conversation, and they should get involved in the conversation. I want them to get involved in the conversation. I think that's why this board and administration has taken the budget on the road, so that it, you know, you don't have to drive the center of the county at 6 o'clock on a Monday night. It's coming to you. So anyway,
Okay, well then, the next work session is at 4 p.m. and before the next board meeting on Tuesday, the February 17th.
I won't be here for that one.
what time?
And
I'll be in Cancun. I'll be thinking about y'all. That's
No,
all.
you
I
won't.
will not be
You
thinking
will
about
not.
you all.
4?
It'll be
I have
warm.
it at 3.
I'll be sunburned.
You will not be thinking
You
about
I
us.
will not be thinking
and
about
I'll invite the housing.
Going to Miami.
you. No,
It's
we're going,
34 degrees there this
no,
week.
we're going to Cancun.
But you may be safe.
Yeah, maybe.
They have phone service down there, do they not? Where you
They
can
do,
zoom
and
in?
I'm not calling in.
Yeah. He knows that because he turns it off because he still has a signal. So, all right. Do we have anything else we want to talk about here?
I move we adjourn.
All right. I'll adjourn the workshop and then we'll wait till 5 o'clock.